Hello and welcome back to the Celtic Forever podcast. We're here to discuss the weekend's game between Celtic and Aberdeen, Celtic Park, 2:30 kick-off. We've settled down for the game in midweek there against Atletico Madrid. Still angry about it. Obviously, Maeda out for 6 weeks. Unbelievable. He gets sent off for being injured, basically. John, what do you make of that?
It's unreal, isn't it? It's absolutely unbelievable. But it's going to be a loss that. Dyson Maeda out for 6 weeks. Before we even go on, talking about the Celtic Aberdeen game, I want to just touch on what Stephen Craigan says last night when I was watching the Aberdeen game.
What did he say?
So I don't know if anybody was watching that game at Aberdeen and Pauk last night. Stephen Craigan, there was a tackle on an Aberdeen player. Quite a bad challenge, you know. The guy goes in and tap his foot. It's a really, really slow one. The guy get booked for it. And Craigan was thinking it was a red. He says that was as aggressive as Dyson Maeda. What do you make of that? That was as aggressive as Dyson Maeda.
That's the mentality of these people, you know. They're watching a different game from us, really. It's, you know, the man gets injured and he's out for 6 weeks. So how's that aggressive? Where's the aggression in him being injured for 6 weeks? He's the one that's been tackled. Maeda's the one that's been tackled. So Stephen Craigan, he hasn't got a clue, John. If he's came out with a comment like that, and then hearing about Dyson Maeda's injury today, he should have a long hard look at himself.
Should have a long hard look at yourself just for uttering it in the first place. I'm guessing that if he's saying that was aggressive by Dyson Maeda, he's not seen the game. He's not seen it. He's seen the pause shot. He's seen the pause shot off of VAR. That's all he's seen. If he's thinking Dyson Maeda was aggressive, all he's seen is that pause shot.
Or he's watching it through blue tinted spectacles.
We know that about him. And look, you're talking 98%, 99% of the pundits in Scotland are blue noses. So what's the point in trying to hide that?
Yeah, that's the mentality, isn't it? Coming up with comments like that. Aggression, there was absolutely no aggression whatsoever in Dyson Maeda and that sending off in midweek. But John, we'll not talk about that. We went on about that in the last podcast, and I know what you're saying. When people come up with comments like that, you know, it does annoy you because it annoys me too. So we'll go Maeda out for 6 weeks, John, who joins Hatate, Abada, Welsh, Naroki, and Tilio on the sidelines. That injury list is beginning to grow.
It's always the same for Celtic, isn't it? Always riddled with injuries. Always, it's been the same for years. But we managed to get through it, and I'm sure we'll get through the weekend as well. So I suppose we can talk about who the stand-in's going to be for Dyson.
John, we'll get to that. You know, we'll get to the predicted lineups a wee bit later on. But just to let people know, the game on Sunday, it is on the telly. It's on Sky Sports. As I said at the start, it's a 2:30 kick-off on Sky Sports. And before we go any further, I just want to mention the competition to win the framed legend prints. Obviously, the draw will be on Sunday. So this is your last chance to get your entry into the comment section. And as I say, all you have to do is mention one of these two Celtic legends. Have a listen to these legends' voices.
Well, I didn't get to come here that often. As a boy, I always admired Pelé. For me, I don't think there'll be a footballer that'll get anywhere near him.
It was absolutely a great time for me as well, personally, and obviously football-wise was just great.
So the first legend played at Celtic in the 80s, and the Celtic legend played between 2005 and 2010. So that's the two clues that we're giving you. So far, we've got 24 entries, so you've got a great chance of winning this. Just put your entry into the comment section, and good luck to everybody that enters. All right, let's get into the game on Saturday, John. Celtic against Aberdeen. It's going to be a toughie, and I think every game's tough just now for Celtic. I think but we're coming through the other side of these games with wins. We're unbeaten in the league. So it's another tough one on Saturday. Obviously, Aberdeen had a decent result last night, I would say, John. 2 each in Europe. That was a decent result, do you think?
Absolutely, it was. I watched that game. Like, to say Aberdeen were lucky would be an understatement, because that Pouk were aware of them for 90 minutes. But Aberdeen, dogged determination with the defensive side of the game. They were really good at it, but Pouk could have scored a barrel load of goals, to be honest with you. I thought the Aberdeen keeper was man of the match. Can't remember his name. Is it Roos? Is it his name? Is the Aberdeen
Roos, Roos, yeah, that's right, yeah.
He had a great game last night. I thought it was fantastic. I like Aberdeen, as you know, so do you. But I think they were very lucky to get away there with a 2-2 draw. But listen, well done to them. They done it. The game was a really good game to watch. Just attack against defence, really. Aberdeen's second goal was a beauty. Absolute beauty.
Right.
Free kick for maybe 25, 27 yards out. A beauty of goal. And one other thing I have to commend is the Pouk fans. I thought they were brilliant enough. But no, I think Aberdeen's going to play pretty much the same way against Celtic. They're going to be quite dogged in defence and try and counter-attack us. I don't think there'll be a lot of running about for Aberdeen players. They're coming back for Greece after 2 days. I've got to play Celtic. Celtic's had 4 days rest, so maybe that'll go in our favours, Under,
Yeah, I hope so. And how do you think Celtic will approach it, John, after midweek?
It's pretty much the way they approach every game at Parkhead. They'll pin them back. I mean, Aberdeen were pinned back for most of the game against Pouk. I think it's going to be pretty much the same type of game. Just Aberdeen defending, try and catch us on the counter-attack because they've got pace up front. So I think it's going to be pretty much the same kind of game. I don't know how tired Aberdeen players are going to be because they did a lot of running about to shut that Pouk team down. They're a good team,
So obviously Aberdeen went to Ibrox earlier in the season and got the win, John. We certainly don't want a repeat of that.
Definitely. I don't want that.
So they're capable of going to places like Ibrox and getting the result. So we need to be very, very wary of Aberdeen and treat them the way we would treat, playing Rangers or Hearts or any other team like that. We've got to treat them the exact same way and just go out and do a professional job against them. That's the way I look at it. All right, John, let's go. Let's have a look at some of what the bookmakers think. John, the betting gives us a wee idea of where the win's going to come on Sunday. So let's have a look at it. Right, Celtic are 1-4. The draw is 57-10, and for Aberdeen to win, you're looking at 14-1. So, what do you think of the bookmakers' odds there?
14-1 for Aberdeen to win. Again,
14-1, aye.
I seldom get it wrong. We say that every time with the bookies. They seldom get it wrong. 14-1 is big odds. If you're an Aberdeen fan and you fancy your team's chances, that's big odds.
Yeah, there's some price into it. 14-1. Celtic 1-4. So they're not really giving Aberdeen a hope, obviously. But as I says, they've already beaten Ibrox and got the win there. So obviously Celtic are a different kettle of fish, much better team than Rangers. So for them to come to Celtic Park, they're going to have to play a lot better as well. So, but obviously Celtic just off the back of that, game in midweek. Let's just hope that the heads are in the right place and we can do a professional job. So moving on to the first goal scorer, John. We've got Kyogo at 10-3, O at 21-4. Maeda, obviously he's out injured now, so he's not going to be in the betting, but his price was 13-2. Got Lewis Palmer at 71, so his odds seem to be dropping. But obviously the bookmakers are getting wise to his ability. And Matt O'Reilly sitting at 15-2. So where's your money going there, John? And obviously gamble responsibly, anybody that's listening.
Aye. I think this is it the last time or the time before. Kyogo's due a goal.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely due a goal. He's not scored a goal in a couple of games, so I would go for. I'd put my money on Kyogo getting the first goal. Well, saying that, it doesn't have to be the first goal he scores, does it? I know he's due a goal. Lewis Palmer maybe for the first goal.
71. Yeah, good price. 71 for Lewis Palmer to score the first goal. He's on form. Obviously had to come off there, right, because of the red card, but no, he's on form. He's on form. He's a very skillful player, Lewis Palmer. So I'll say I'm going to go Matt O'Reilly because he's not been in the same form the last few games. So I think he'll pick it up on Sunday, and I think he'll score the first goal. 15-2, Matt O'Reilly for me. Right, moving on to the correct scores, John. This is where I think it's quite interesting. So 2-0 to Celtic, 61. 3-0 to Celtic, 71. 1-0 to Celtic, 17-2. 2-1 to Celtic, also 17-2. 3-1 is 91. 4-0 to Celtic is 11-1. And 5-0 to Celtic, 20-1. So it's not great. I mean, for 5-0, 20-1, it's not great, is it?
No. And Celtic have delivered a few scalpings to Aberdeen over the years, as we know.
That's right.
So I know it's no good odds for that. That's no good odds at all. But I don't think it's going to be a 5-0. I think Aberdeen.
No, they are.
They're a bit more street smart than they were previous seasons, I think.
Definitely, yeah. I was going to ask you for your predicted correct score, but we'll go through the lineups first before we do that. It's just because I've got the prices up here in front of us just now. So I was thinking around about the 2-1 mark at 17-2. So we'll get back to that, John. Right, we'll go back to the correct scores. So Celtic's last 5 games, John, it's not great reading. Obviously, they lost to Madrid in midweek, and then we beat Ross County 3-0, and then we beat St Mirren 2-1. But before that, we drew to Hibs, and before that, we drew to Atletico. So a loss and 2 draws in amongst the last 5 games, John.
Aye. The Hibs game was obviously the hangover for Europe. I think we kind of knew that was coming. I don't think there'll be a hangover this week. We've had 4 days rest as well, remember? So the Hibs game, we'd only played 2 days previous, so I think it'll be a different story this time.
Yeah. I just hope we can put the game to bed quite early. A couple of goals in the first half, and it just settles everybody down, because obviously they play on Sunday as well, and they play Lydon Livingston first before us, so that's a guaranteed 3 points for them. So they're going to pull it back to 5 points. We need to make sure we put that back up to 8 points come Sunday night. Okay. So the last 5 games, the last 6 games against Aberdeen, John, we've won every one of them. Every single time we've played Aberdeen in the last 6, we've beat them. 3-1, 5-0, 4-0, 1-0, 2-0, and 3-2. So going by the form there, John, it's looking like a Celtic win.
Aye. I don't think Celtic will drop points this weekend. I think they've got to. They'll not be feeling sorry for themselves. Put it that way. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think they're going to be up for this at the weekend. They're going to want to put themselves, full of confidence again. They want to fill themselves with confidence. They're going to go to Aberdeen. Sorry, they're not going to go to Aberdeen. They're going to go to Celtic Park, but they're going to go at Aberdeen for the off. I think, and Aberdeen's going to. I think Celtic will tire Aberdeen out for the second half
because they've had 2 days less rest than Celtic. Do you think is that why you think that?
That's why I think that. Aye, and but Celtic's obviously got better players than what Aberdeen's got. So that's why I think that as well. I think we're just going to go at Aberdeen for the start. We've had 4 days rest. That's the most rest we've had in a long time. So I think you're going to see a kind of fresher looking Celtic on Sunday. And I think they're going to want to put that bad result against that mob in midweek to bed, I think.
Yeah. Maybe this sort of tougher test is what we need, John, because maybe a St Johnstone or a Dundee would have been one of the, lethargic games, no a lot of energy. But with Aberdeen coming to town, the players are going to be up for it, I would imagine.
Celtic players will be up for it, Xander, aye.
Mm-hmm.
Aberdeen players will be up for it as well. They've had a great result in Europe last night. So that's going to give them some confidence,
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
how long are they going to last? That's the thing. How long's their legs going to last? Because that was a hard game for them last night. Did a lot of chasing,
Yeah. Yeah, obviously we've got an unbeaten Celtic at the top of the league with 32 points. And we've got Aberdeen, who are not in the top 6. They're sitting 7th in the league with 12 points.
Aye, but they'll give it a go in a counter-attacking sense. They're not going to come out and attack Celtic, I don't think. I think they're going to play pretty much the same way they played against PAOK. They're going to defend and try and counter-attack.
Who is it that scored their wonder goal for you last night? Do you know?
What's the boy's name? Jamie McGrath.
Jamie McGrath. So that's one to look out for then.
Aye. Oh, definitely. Aye, that free kick was a stunner.
No, it was a free kick, was it?
Aye.
All right. Okay. Well, that wraps up the forum going into the game tomorrow, John. What the bookmakers think as well. All it leaves is for us to give a score prediction. I think the score's going to be tomorrow, and I think it's going to be, looking at both teams just played away in Europe, so a bit leggy. Celtic's had that extra couple of days rest. Tight game. I think it'll be a tight game. I'm going to go 2-1 to Celtic.
I don't think it's going to be a walkover. I'm going to say 3-0 Celtic.
3-0.
Aye.
Sounds a wee bit more comfortable. 3-0 sounds comfortable, but in the comments, leave in the comments what you think the correct score is going to be tomorrow. Put your predicted score in the comments, and we'll reply to it in the next podcast, the post-match podcast on Sunday. So you're saying 3-0, John. I'm saying, what did I say? 2-1?
2-1, aye.
So let's have a look at the betting then on that. 2-1 to Celtic is 17-2, and 3-0 to Celtic is 71. There you go, John. Get your retainer on that. Put £80 in your pocket.
No. I wouldn't bet on Celtic games. That's
no.
I don't know. I just don't do that.
No, I actually don't, just let people know, I don't actually bet. I just like to see what the bookmakers think, what their odds are on the game and certain things in the game. So I just like to talk about that, see what the bookmakers think.
I don't bet either. I've never been a gambler, but I think you used to like a wee flutters, Xander.
I used to put a count on years ago, aye, but I was fed up throwing my money away, so I gave it up. So, anybody that's listening and no, I was never very good at it. Although I'm still 4-2 up in the prediction, so.
Aye, that shows you how bad I am with
it. So anybody that does put a wee bet on, just remember and gamble responsibly. All right.
So what do you think the starting lineup is going to be tomorrow? We never went through that. I don't need to go through the whole team. It kind of picks itself, but. What
I'll tell you what I think, John, because I've changed it a wee bit, right? I don't know what we'll get yours in a minute, but I've changed it because I think it's going to change it up. It's going to be the usual back five: Hart, Taylor, Johnston, Scales, and Carter Vickers with McGregor in midfield. But then he's going to put in Bernardo, Matt O'Reilly, Yang on the left. Sorry, Palmer on the left, Young on the right, and I think he's going to put O up front on Sunday.
I don't think he's going to put Owen. He's going to play Kyogo. I think you're right with Yang on the right and Palmer on the left. I think you're probably going to be right with that one there. Can I see James Forrest getting a start? Can I see it? But you never know. You just never know. But I'll agree with that, Palmer. But with Kyogo and Yang, that's what I'd like to see. Centre of the park, Callum McGregor, Matt O'Reilly, and is it going to be Bernardo? I'm not sure. That's always the position that gets me. Is that one? But still, again, I keep saying it, and I've never seen it yet. I'd like to see Iwata getting a start, but I think it possibly could be Bernardo or Turnbull, of course.
Yeah, it could go Turnbull. Yeah, it's just our predictions, John. It's obviously we don't know at all who he's going to pick. We find out on Sunday afternoon what the team's going to be. But I just think it'll be Bernardo and Matt O'Reilly in there. Again, Matt O'Reilly, no, he's not been doing it the last few games, has he?
Still been the best, but you know that's Matt O'Reilly. If he does, he has same with every player, isn't it? I suppose every player goes through wee bad spells. Dyson Maeda was another one that was on a bad run of form, isn't he?
Yeah, he was, yeah. But he looked quite sharp the other night. The first 6 minutes before he got sent off, I thought he looked quite sharp.
Aye, he did. Aye, he was electric. But previous to that, I think he was off form. He wasn't really having an impact in the games, but maybe 3 games before that. But aye, he's going to be a huge loss, Dyson Maeda. A huge loss. But look, it opens the door up for Young, doesn't it?
It does, aye. And hopefully he's not affected with the horror tackle that he got last weekend, the career-ending tackle that he received. Hopefully he's not affected by that, John, because that can affect a young boy.
Aye, it can put you off playing football. That people going in for challenges like that. But something he's going to have to get used to in Scotland is bad challenges. I mean, it happens all the time. So that's just the way the Scottish game is, isn't it? It's competitive. The players battle hard. So
yeah,
if he wants to be a success here, he needs to get used to that, Xander.
He has to get used to career-ending tackles. All right, John, let's move on. Have you heard anything for the Green Brigade? Is there any news? Nothing at all? Nothing? No news? No press conferences or anything?
No, I've not seen anything. So don't know.
So as it
don't know.
So as it
They're not going to be there. They're abandoned definitely, which means for life. So chances of them being there on Sunday are. I don't know what your odds would be in the bookies for that.
All right, we'll move on. Neil McCann thinks Rangers are going to win the treble. I was on Radio Scotland the other night. He says they're the only team that can win the treble. So how do you make of that, John? Neil McCann thinks Rangers are going to win the treble.
Aye, well, literally speaking, they're mathematically speaking, you could say they're the only team that can win the treble. Well, they're not really, because Aberdeen's still in the league and all that, so obviously we don't fancy Aberdeen's chances of winning the league or Hearts' chance of winning the league or anything. But out of the two, they are the only team that can win the treble. But will they win the treble? Absolutely not. No.
They've not even won the League Cup. They're not even won the League Cup yet. And he's going on about winning trebles.
Aye, absolutely. Look, they've got a new manager. They're all excited now. They all think this is it. You wait a few weeks and you'll see them turning on their manager, guaranteed.
Yeah, they've done the exact same with Beale. You know, he's the best thing since sliced bread. And as soon as a couple of results started going against him, they wanted him out the door. So as you say, as soon as that new manager bounces over, the crowd at Ibrox will start picking on him as well. Watch your space. All right, John, get any comments for us?
Aye, but only Neil McCann anyway. But before I get the comments, the guy's just another idiot. Saw these pundits on the BBC and all that, all ex-Rangers players. Oh, I don't know what they're doing, man. They get all excited, didn't they? I heard Cragen last night, McCoist, what's his name, McInnes, McCann, all that mob, Ferguson, the others, Ferguson, all ex-Rangers players and all the radio shows and all that, ex-Rangers players, Rangers fans. You think there's any bias there with the media?
Well, what Celtic players have we got in the media just now?
Chris
I don't listen to it anymore, so Chris Sutton, well, he's at English based more or less, isn't he?
Big Sutton's
Yeah.
John Hartson. But they're never on. I'm talking about the Scottish ones. I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Your Radio Scotland.
Who have we got in Radio Scotland? Pat Bonner, is that it? Is that all there is? Ex-Celtic players.
That's it, Pat Bonner. Maybe wee McFadden. I know he's a wee Tim. He's not an ex-Celtic player, but I know he's a Celtic fan. But that's it as far as Celtic media guys go in the BBC and the mainstream guys.
Yeah.
It's all ex-Rangers players. You know, it's just, I can't listen to them, you know, especially guys like McCann.
Yeah, it's always good to listen to the unbiased Scottish radio. Yeah, I'm the same. All right. Okay, John, let's move on to the comments then. So, anything for us today, John, for the last podcast? Obviously, the last podcast was the post-match for Atletico Madrid. Anything there, John?
So there's a few there. The Prophet, great. Love the podcast, man. Thanks, Prophet.
Just Prophet.
Mad about football. Well said, John and Xander. Tell it like it is. No happy clapping. Well done. Oh, no, definitely no happy clapper.
No happy clapping here, I'm afraid.
Well,
maybe a wee bit.
No, I think I've never heard us happy clapping at anything. We cheer on Celtic. That's one thing. It goes without fail. We cheer on Celtic. We get behind them and all that. I'll never say anything bad about them. But certainly never happy clap for other teams like I've heard other guys doing. Oh, I thought Atletico were a brilliant team. No, that's not the way I see that. Anyway, UEFA is an elite club that teams like Celtic are not a part of. What do you think of that? I kind of agree with that. I think UEFA, it's a big boys club, isn't it? Barcelona, all the Madrids, the French teams, the English teams, it's all a big elite club, and teams like Celtic and that have left it.
Yeah, well, basically no wanted there, John, let's be honest. If I don't want teams like Celtic there, you know, they're just getting in the road, you know, but we're there and we plan to remain there. But, you know, you look at these decisions that go against Celtic every time we're in the Champions League. Soft penalties, soft red cards. You know, it's, as you said, I think you said in the last preview podcast, you just don't like the Champions League. I can understand why, because you're getting nothing in these games. You're getting no decisions. When's the last time we had a half-decent decision in a Champions League game, John? You know, we have not won a game in the Champions League at home in how many years? Is it 10 years?
10 years.
That surely can't be all down to Celtic Forum, a team that wins the league every single year, dominant in Scotland, but they can't get a result in the Champions League. It just doesn't add up to me.
No, it's ridiculous. I've always thought that the big clubs, it's an elite club, the Champions League. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Call it. I'm not saying they're Masonic or anything like that, but something along those lines. That's what I'm saying. And Celtic are definitely not a part of it. Trust me. So next comment, Ghost Tracker. 3 reds for the friendliest team in Europe. Says it all. Chin up, we move on. Celtic are not a dirty team. They never have been a dirty team. So I agree with that. Very, very fair team, Celtic. And I'll tell you something else about Celtic in Europe. They're not street smart enough. They don't surround the referee if somebody farts next to one of their players. Because that's the way these teams are. You see it. As soon as something happens to their player, they break a toenail. The whole stadium's run the ref and the officials.
Yeah, well, yeah, right. Well, here's another example then, right, Joe? I don't want to go on about the other team too much at the other side of Glasgow, But there was a game they played in their run to the final in Europe, right? Where one of the players, I can't remember who it was, but he nearly takes a guy's head off with a high foot. Do you remember that one?
Big animal. Doesn't even look like a football player to me. I know the guy you're talking about, but it was him that nearly took a guy's head off. I know what you're talking about.
But he did he even get booked for that? Did he get booked for that?
They didn't even get booked for it. Was that not in the final?
Was it the final? I think it was the final, aye.
Oh, what's his
But
name?
that's the, if that's a Celtic player doing that, John, he's off the park immediately. That's just one example that's came to the top of my head there. So we're getting no decisions in Europe whatsoever. So, and it isn't paranoia. The facts are there that proves it. As I said earlier, John, a team that's dominant in Scotland wins every trophy in Scotland, but can't get a result in Europe. For me, that's 1 and 1 makes 4, John, as far as I'm concerned.
Aye. Lundstrom, that was the guy.
Lundstrom, right? Aye, Lundstrom. Aye.
Lundstrom. He tried to take the player's head off, high boot right into his head, play on.
Yeah.
But
and then you've got Dysonmead who tickles a player and gets a red card. You know,
he didn't even look. The guy had shin pads on for a start, and Maeda, at the very bottom of his stud, probably brushed it by 0.5 millimetre. Never touched him really. Mm-hmm. Just a brush. Mm-hmm. It's like putting a brush across your shin pad. Mm-hmm. A wee dustpan brush put across your shin pad. That's what it was, and he gets sent off for that. Celtic need to be more street smart in the Champions League. It's as simple as that. If you want decisions, the whole stadium should get around the ref, because that's the way these teams are, and it wins them decisions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally agree.
Celtic, when something like that happens to either players, all you see is one player put his horn up. Come on, what was that? The rest of the team don't do anything, you know. So maybe that's something Celtic should work on in Europe, surrounding the ref. But to be honest with you, it just disgusts me when I see that.
Yeah, and that happens all the time. As you say, we're not street smart enough, John. You're right. You're absolutely right. And it's not something that Celtic are going to start doing, because they've never done it. I've never seen Celtic players surrounding a referee trying to get an opposite player sent off. I've never seen it. No in Europe anyway.
No. Anyway, a couple of more comments. Roseanne thinks it's going to be 2-0 to Celtic on Sunday against Aberdeen. Thanks for that, Roseanne. I think it's going to be 3-0. Yeah. But here, Roseanne got the score right for Ross County.
Yeah, she did. Yeah. But yeah, and hope she gets the score right as well at the weekend. And on that, as I said earlier, John, anybody that wants to leave their predicted score for Sunday, just leave it in. There's no prize for that. The prize is for guessing the two legends' voices. But if you want to leave a comment with your predicted score for the weekend, just leave it in the comments.
So the Prophet, he's left another couple of comments. Hey, I forgot. Did you hear the TNT pundit saying UEFA is putting out an appeal to be a ref? There is a shortest of them. I think that's a short list, he means. There is a short list of them. Send your name to a link if you want to be a ref. That's a joke.
Right, first of all, what's the TNT? What's that?
TNT is the channel that shows the games.
Oh, right, the TV channel, right.
BT Sports.
That's a joke. Who was it that said that comment in?
The Prophet.
The Prophet, brilliant, the Prophet. Well done. It made me laugh anyway.
Listen, Prophet, if you're a real prophet, what's your score for Sunday? Get it in the comments, mate.
Good luck to the boys. It's going to be tough, but just go out and do what you normally do to these teams, and we should come out there with the 3 points. What's your final thoughts on the game, John?
Aye, it's going to be a good game, I think, on Sunday. I think the Aberdeen players are going to have a big lift out of the result against PAOK, I think. So they're going to be up for it. There'll be a lot of the Reds fans there at Celtic Park cheering on their team as well.
Yeah.
But I think Celtic's going to be right up for this. They're going to want to put that result to bed in midweek.
Yeah.
So I think the Celtic team is definitely going to be up for this. They've had 4 days rest. I think they'll be ready to go, Xander. 3-0 Celtic.
Yeah, I hope you're right, John. I hope you're right. As long as we get the 3 points, it doesn't matter what the score is. We always say that, John, and it's true. As long as you come out of Celtic Park on Sunday with 3 points, we'll all be happy. And what we'll do is we'll do a wee podcast on Sunday night, John. We post-match podcast. If you're up for that, you up for that?
Yeah, definitely, aye.
Good man, good man. All right, John, and we'll see you on Sunday.
See you Sunday, Xander. Hail, hail.
Hail, hail, John. Bye for now.